Okay, so this is, there's a two-parter to this for Oli.
I'm recording.
Oh, you're, okay. Hello there, Oli. So, as you saw in the other video about getting the double check ready, I believe on your valve boxes, I may have left the bleed pin open on the valves. So this little switch here, if it's straight up, that'll mean it's on. So if you kick on your system and a zone comes on, pop open the box and just make sure that that's flat like that. So that's off. So like here at John and Kelly's, I've got hers. I left it open there. So same valve. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is the splitter and the right way. So first of all, I think your splitter is brand new from last year, so it should have a decent O-ring on it. The key is that the O-rings are still sort of elastic. Once they get sort of brittle or cracked or anything, it's time to toss them, because this is the seal. You know, there's no point in really, hey Gully, there's no point in using a lot of Teflon tape, because that's on the threads. That surface really isn't your point of sealage. It's all, you know, right down on the O-ring. So put the splitter on first, and you know, you don't want to use a pair of pliers and crank on it, but just get that seal tested out first. Open it up all the way. So here in John and Kelly's, they've got a pretty old bib, but looks like it's holding up there. Okay, so looks like I'm pretty good, and I didn't, you know, have to reef on that, which you know, damage. You might risk damaging it. So take out our plug. This O-ring still looks good to me, so we just want to get that up. Turn. Make sure you're catching the threads. So you can see, I think I gave you the same sort of water heater flex hose. It's pipe thread here. This is adapter goes to hose bib thread, which is on standard hose bib fittings. So want to make sure both of these things are moving at the same time. It'll swivel here at this point, so I'm just going to snug this up. Okay, now I'm going to test it. Success. So we're tight there. Okay, now you should be good to go once you got your double check sealed up and your connection here. Leave your hose bib on. You know, your secondary will be for when you want to hand water. So what is probably going to happen this first turn on season for you is there's going to be some pipe shavings and burrs that'll probably end up inside the valve and make it weep. So you might see like water puddling at a low spot, either the front yard or the backyard, and you may have to take apart and clean a valve. So in order to do that, shut off the water, 7/16 hex driver, remove the 4 bolts. I'm just going to go over the parts with you so you know what you're in for when you open this thing up. And you want to make sure that, you know, the dirt line in the valve box is below this bonnet, so that you don't have any sort of dirt falling inside, which will make your life miserable. I just want you to hold on to this part of the video for future reference. Keep your bolts in a handy spot. Okay, once we pry this open, there's going to be a couple parts. So you have the diaphragm here, and this is where you're going to, on the underside of this diaphragm, where it seats right here, this is probably where you're going to see some pipe shavings, little white PVC shavings that might be kind of gouged into the rubber. Just pluck them out, rinse it off. So basically there's just this big diaphragm That spring should hold in place, but you know, you want to make sure it's stays there. And then this is the key. You don't want to lose this little O-ring that goes over this solenoid port. It should just stay put, but be careful taking it apart so that you don't lose this thing. Just be mindful that that thing might come loose in the process. So just remember, you've got these parts that you want to keep track of. That little tooth there, when you go to reassemble, fits in that little notch. You know, and then make sure your O-ring's on there. Everything should go back in place. So key to cleaning it out is just flushing the debris out of here. And I've got that shutoff valve nearby that red handle, so you can just blast water a little bit at a time to clear it out if you need be. Make sure there's no dirt or grainage inside that port. Can cause problems, in which case you'd have to unscrew the solenoid and blow air through it. But anyway, there you go. That should, hopefully you don't have the need to take that apart, but typically some of those pipe shavings can hang out in the main line for a while and then eventually get loose and find their way there, which won't make a good seal, and then you get that weeping or slow bleed, which you'll notice at a low head. All right, that concludes that part.
Are we done?
Yep.